Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you have been here before and have subscribed to my channel, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting my effort to bring book summaries to you. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Without any further ado, let's take a look at this rather interesting book. The topic is very catchy, isn't it? No Debt, No Fear is a book written by Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned Vietnamese Zen master, teacher, author, poet and peace activist. He is a renowned figure in the world of mindfulness and Buddhism. In this book, he draws on his years of experience as a teacher and practitioner to offer a comprehensive guide to understanding and transforming our fear of death. The book explores the topic of death and the fear that surrounds it, offering a Buddhist perspective on how to live a meaningful and joyful life without being overwhelmed by the fear of death. It was first published in 2002 and has since become a classic in the field of mindfulness and spirituality. The book is divided into 4 main sections. First section discusses about the nature of death. In this section, Thich Nhat Hanh discusses the nature of death and the concepts of impermanence and interconnectedness. He starts by explaining that death is not the end of life, but a natural part of the cycle of birth and death, and that everything in the universe is subject to change and impermanence. He emphasizes that understanding the true nature of death is essential to overcoming our fear of it and living a life free from suffering. Thich Nhat Hanh goes on to explain the concept of interconnectedness, which is central to Buddhist teachings. He emphasizes that everything in the universe is connected and that there is no such thing as a separate self. He explains that when we understand this interconnection, we can see that death is not an isolated event but part of a larger process that includes birth, life, and rebirth. He writes, when we look deeply, we see that birth and death are only 2 aspects of the same reality, and that this reality is our true nature. Thich Nhat Hanh also discusses the Buddhist concept of dependent co-arising, which explains how everything arises in dependence on multiple causes and conditions. He explains that our existence is not independent but interconnected with everything else, and that the actions we take in our lives can have far-reaching effects on others. Furthermore, he explains that the fear of death arises from our attachment to our individual identity, our possessions, and our relationships. When we cling to these things, we create the illusion of a separate self that is vulnerable to death and loss. However, when we let go of our attachment and see ourselves as part of a larger whole, we can overcome our fear of death and find peace. In summary, Thich Nhat Hanh's The Nature of Death section emphasizes the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things, and how understanding these concepts can help us overcome our fear of death. He explains that death is a natural part of the cycle of birth and rebirth, and that our individual identity is an illusion that creates suffering. When we let go of our attachment and see ourselves as part of a larger whole, we can find peace and live fully in the present moment. The second section discusses about no fear of death. In this section, Thich Nhat Hanh explores how we can overcome our fear of death and transform it into a positive force in our lives. He starts by acknowledging that the fear of death is a universal human experience, but emphasizes that it is possible to transform this fear into a source of inner strength and wisdom. Thich Nhat Hanh explains that one way to overcome our fear of death is to develop mindfulness and the ability to live fully in the present moment. He suggests that when we are able to fully embrace the present moment, we are able to let go of our attachment to the past and the future, and see that death is just another part of the natural cycle of life. Another way to overcome our fear of death, according to Thich Nhat Hanh, is to cultivate a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. He explains that when we see ourselves as part of a larger whole, we are able to let go of our attachment to our individual identity and see that death is not an isolated event but part of a larger process that includes birth, life, and rebirth. Thich Nhat Hanh also emphasizes the importance of compassion and understanding in overcoming our fear of death. He explains that when we develop compassion for ourselves and others, we are able to see that death is a natural part of the human experience, and that all beings are subject to the same cycle of birth and death. This understanding can help us to let go of our fear and find peace in the face of death. Moreover, Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that we can use the practice of deep looking to transform our fear of death. He explains that when we look deeply into our fear, we can see that it is not a solid or permanent thing, but rather a manifestation of our own thoughts and feelings. By looking deeply into our fear, we can gain insight and wisdom that can help us to overcome it. In summary, Thich Nhat Hanh's No Fear of Death section offers practical advice on how to overcome our fear of death and transform it into a positive force in our lives. He emphasizes the importance of mindfulness, understanding interconnectedness, compassion, and deep looking in cultivating a sense of peace and acceptance in the face of death. The third section is about healing through understanding. In this section, Thich Nhat Hanh discusses how we can use mindfulness, meditation, and other practices to help us come to terms with death and loss. He starts by emphasizing the importance of understanding our own emotions and reactions to death and loss. He suggests that when we are able to recognize and accept our own feelings, we are better able to offer compassion and understanding to others who are also grieving. Thich Nhat Hanh then goes on to discuss the importance of mindfulness in healing from loss. He explains that mindfulness allows us to be fully present with our feelings and experiences, without judging or reacting to them. Through mindfulness practices such as deep breathing, body awareness, and mindful walking, we can cultivate a sense of calm and clarity that can help us to process our emotions and move through the grieving process. Another important aspect of healing through understanding, according to Thich Nhat Hanh, is developing a deep understanding of impermanence. He explains that everything in life is constantly changing, including our own bodies and minds. When we can accept and embrace this impermanence, we are better able to let go of our attachments and find peace in the face of loss. Thich Nhat Hanh also emphasizes the importance of cultivating gratitude in the face of loss. He explains that when we can appreciate the beauty and preciousness of life, even in the midst of loss, we are better able to find meaning and purpose in our lives. Finally, Thich Nhat Hanh offers practical advice on how to support others who are grieving. He emphasizes the importance of listening with compassion, offering simple acts of kindness, and creating a safe and supportive space for those who are grieving to express their feelings and emotions. In summary, Thich Nhat Hanh's Healing Through Understanding section offers practical advice on how to use mindfulness, meditation, and other practices to come to terms with death and loss. He emphasizes the importance of understanding our own emotions, cultivating mindfulness, embracing impermanence, and practicing gratitude. He also offers advice on how to support others who are grieving with compassion and kindness. The fourth and final section discusses about living fully in the present. In this section, Thich Nhat Hanh discusses the importance of living fully in the present moment and how doing so can help us to overcome our fear of death. He starts by emphasizing that the present moment is the only moment that truly exists, and that dwelling on the past or worrying about the future only serves to distract us from the beauty and potential of the present moment. Thich Nhat Hanh explains that when we live fully in the present moment, we are better able to appreciate the beauty of life and cultivate a deep sense of gratitude. He suggests that we can do this by practicing mindfulness, which involves paying attention to our breath, our body, and our surroundings with openness and curiosity. Another aspect of living fully in the present, according to Thich Nhat Hanh, is developing a sense of interconnectedness with all things. He explains that when we see ourselves as part of a larger whole, we are better able to appreciate the preciousness of life and let go of our fear of death. Thich Nhat Hanh also emphasizes the importance of cultivating joy and happiness in the present moment, regardless of our circumstances. He suggests that we can do this by focusing on the things that bring us joy, such as spending time with loved ones, being in nature, or engaging in activities that bring us a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Finally, Thich Nhat Hanh offers practical advice on how to cultivate a sense of presence and joy in our everyday lives. He suggests that we can do this by practicing deep breathing, mindful walking, and other mindfulness practices throughout the day, as well as by taking time to appreciate the simple pleasures of life, such as a beautiful sunset or a warm cup of tea. In summary, Thich Nhat Hanh's Living Fully in the Present section offers practical advice on how to overcome our fear of death by cultivating a deep sense of presence and interconnectedness with all things. He emphasizes the importance of mindfulness, gratitude, joy, and appreciation of the present moment, and offers practical advice on how to cultivate these qualities in our everyday lives. To conclude this beautiful book, it can be noted that throughout the book, Thich Nhat Hanh presents a powerful and compassionate exploration of death and the nature of existence. He emphasizes the importance of cultivating a deep understanding of impermanence, interconnectedness, and the present moment, in order to overcome our fear of death and find meaning and purpose in our lives. Thich Nhat Hanh encourages us to embrace the beauty and preciousness of life, and to see death not as an end, but as a continuation of our journey. He emphasizes that death is not something to be feared, but rather a natural and inevitable part of the cycle of life. Through his teachings and practices, Thich Nhat Hanh offers practical guidance on how to cultivate mindfulness, compassion, and gratitude in our everyday lives, so that we can experience greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. He also offers advice on how to support others who are grieving, with compassion and kindness. In essence, No Death, No Fear is a deeply insightful and inspiring book that encourages us to live fully in the present moment, embrace impermanence, and find peace in the face of loss and death. It offers a profound perspective on the nature of existence and the human experience, and is a valuable resource for anyone seeking to find greater meaning, purpose, and peace in their lives. I really hope you loved this content. Please consider subscribing to my channel, smash that like button, hit that notification bell icon. It really will help me build the channel and bring more exciting content to you. Until my next video, take care and keep well.